Agness set up the Facebook group titled the 11 Plus ISEB SATS GCSE and A-Level Resource Group.
Well done. You got it all in one go. And then I realized that my group was set to a private function. And in order to be able to allow others to see the group, find the group and join in and help us with what we needed, I had to make the group public, which is what I did. The admins are the one who actually put in all the resources. I started off doing that initially, but now I've got subject experts doing stuff like that for me. First and foremost, given the year that we've had, online learning is definitely here to stay. Right? I think every child of this era loves the screen. I know I've got 2 of those in my house. But the one thing that I am really careful with is when people are answering parent queries, we need to make sure that they are indeed people who know about that subject matter and not just anyone just hoping to just have their 2 cents worth and just saying something and misguiding a parent.
Yeah.
Because that could cost someone a child's place.
Welcome to the Qualified Tutor Podcast. I'm your host, Ludo Miller, and I'll be interviewing tutors and thought leaders from across the tutoring landscape to inspire, inform, and motivate you to become the best tutor you can be. The Qualified Tutor community is a safe and supportive space for tutors who love to learn and grow. We offer training, resources, ideas, and a chance to connect with like-minded tutors. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our Qualified Tutor community at www.qualifiedtutorcommunity.org or find it in the show notes.
Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Qualified Tutor Podcast, and a huge welcome to Agness O'Brien.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today, Ludo. I'm really, really excited about this.
Thank you, Agness. As a brief introduction to Agness, back in October 2016, Agness set up the Facebook group titled the 11 Plus ISEB SATS GCSE and A-Level Resource Group.
Well done. You got it all in one go.
No, I spent time memorizing that. And this group is kind of formed as a way for parents and educators to come together in a single space and share ideas, resources, and discussion. And since then, it has grown into one of the largest educational resource groups that we know of, helping over 13,000 individuals with learning in the specified areas above. I won't go over them again because I'll probably forget. But and really, as it says on the tin, the group is a hub of resource sharing, of test preparation tips and materials, and generally a space in which people can have their questions answered and their fears allayed. Specifically kind of in this time of lockdown when there were so many questions and fears. So, as the group has grown, Agness and her team have added branches such as the free book clubs, the Facebook live streams, a talk show, and more really to the repertoire of the group. And I counsel you, the listener, I think it's time that you dived into the conversation too. So over the next 25 minutes, Agness will be telling us how and why you should join and what sets this group apart from the rest. So, Agness, it's a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to dive straight into the first question, which is, what is your why as an educator?
First and foremost, I must clarify that I'm not a teacher, and neither am I a tutor by profession. But as a parent of 2 girls, I would say that from the moment I first laid eyes on my firstborn, I knew I was going to be an educator, whether I liked it or not. So I vowed then that I would actively involve myself in my child's progress in life. So naturally, with both of my daughters, at a very young age, as soon as they started to recognize alphabets and began to write, I started to teach them words, beginning with the 3-letter words, 4-letter words, and 5-letter words, and so on and so forth. I would give them a dictionary and a thesaurus and 10 words each week for them to look up on the dictionary and thesaurus and put sentences together using the words that they're given and try to apply those words in conversations at home during the week. So it became a habit. It was sort of a game. Even if you're on our walks or in a car ride somewhere, we'll start using the words throughout the week. So they get themselves more and more familiar with the words. So in a nutshell, they would use synonyms and antonyms instead of the words that I've given them. So getting more and more creative with it. So building their vocabulary. And that to me was crucial, the start of it all. So, then, as they progressed through primary school, we then came to the time where we had to decide on what we're going to do about the secondary education. My husband went to a local grammar school. So naturally, we were looking at the path of the girls' grammar school because we are in Colchester, where one of the top grammar schools in the country, as well as, in the county, as well as the country really, is. So we decided we would have a go at getting her, to try sitting the 11 plus. The only problem we had is I was brought up in a different country. Everything I learned, apart from English, was in a different language. Even with helping my kids with English, I could still help them with English, but a lot of the stuff that I was helping them with, there was always the fear that I would confuse them because I'm trying to translate things from one language to another. So there was always the tendency of probably just misleading them. So my husband was always working abroad. He was always away for 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks at a time. So it's always down to me to make sure that I had my kids working towards the 11 plus proper. So with that, what I did was I started asking parents at the playground, parents in the village, friends in the village, if they knew anything about the consortium of selective schools, selective entrance exams for CSSE or CSSE as we call it here. I didn't know head or tail about what it entailed. They talk about verbal reasoning, they would talk about, creative writing. And I'm like, is that similar to essay writing? What exactly does it entail? What do I need to teach them? Nobody knew. Or some would probably not want to tell you because there's this whole sense of competitiveness. A lot of people wouldn't share their knowledge because they feel like, well, why should I be teaching you? Because your child's going to sit the same exam my child's going to be sitting. There may be 160 places on offer, but we are competing for maybe one of the places. So I had to research it all. I started asking other friends of mine, other parts of the country. And there were quite a few of them who were also planning to put their kids through the 11 plus proper, but nobody knew exactly what to do. Googled as much as I could, didn't really find much that really helped me to find out more about it. That's when I thought, do you know what? Maybe I should just start a Facebook group. I was just beginning to use a lot more offers, apart from keeping in touch with friends and families. I started seeing recipe clubs and all sorts coming up as Facebook groups. So I said, maybe I should start something that, kind of helps me get some resources for myself and, gather more members who will share their resources with me. That's how it all started. But at that point, I was only focusing on the 11 plus. So the name of the group was then 11 plus resource sharing for parents.
Right.
Okay. So that's when, though, I realized when I started researching everything about CSSE, I then realized that, when I'm exchanging notes with other friends from other counties, I realized that this exam is not the same throughout the country. So you probably need about, some information about what's happening here, but the other members in the group needed to know what's happening in other parts of the country. Now, we all had for the first 6 months, there were about 8, 9 of us who had lots of questions, but nobody had answers because we were all in the same boat. And then I realized that my group was set to a private function. And in order to be able to allow others to see the group, find the group and join in and help us with what we needed, I had to make the group public, which is what I did. So that's when a lot of tutors and teachers who found the group through keyword searches, 11 plus is one word, everybody put in the search bar to look for us. And then they start coming in, and within 2 years, I had 2,000 members. And by that time, my kids had gone through the whole 11 plus proper. And it then came to the realization that I had done this for about 2 years. Do I carry on with this? Or do I then, just probably just ditch the whole thing and just carry on with my life? Because my kids had already got into the grammar school. But by then I had 2,000 members. And it's not as easy as just hitting the delete button.
Yeah, by then you couldn't go back, could you?
No, you can't go back. You're either going to you look bad, wouldn't you? That you're just, leaving all the members who are by then, they're really excited about what you're offering. By that time, we had started sharing a lot of resources in the group, from literary devices, similes, metaphors, alliteration, all those examples of everything was being shared in the group. We hadn't started with Facebook Live sessions yet then. But I was beginning to think, I was researching how to actually delete a group. And as far as Facebook is concerned, if you want to delete a group, you've got to delete every single member first before you can delete the group. So that option was out of the question. And I then asked, by that time, I think I had 2 admins whom I've asked to just come on board and just help me to moderate the group, because it was getting a bit too big for me to manage on my own. And at that point, I had Sheila Ager, the author of Cat Balade Press trilogy, vocabulary novels. She was one of my first admins, actually, and Richard Gray from Crystal Tuition. They were my 2 admins at that point. So I was asking them, I said, guys, what do I do with this group now? Where do I go from here? And they said, listen, you've actually started something that is big. You may not think it's big, but it is big. We are here. We like what you do, and we like being part of this team. Let's see what we can do to take this further. So that's when we decided. I said, well, unless it's going to benefit my children, myself, there's no point in me going further. They've now got into the grammar school. I need to now include ISEB, SATs, GCSE, and A-level. So that's when the group totally evolved into what it is today.
So how were you able to kind of let go of what you were doing at that time in your life to take on the extra work from this group?
I was always keeping myself busy. If not, I wasn't actually working at that point. I didn't have a paid job at that point. So just basically managing the girls, taking them to school, coming back and all that. That was all I was doing. So I had plenty of time to work on this at the start of it. But as the group grew bigger, I started getting a lot of calls from members, because now Messenger allows people to call you, right? With Facebook, you can call each other and stuff. And people started sending me messages. And I would attend to every single message or call, and take my time to listen to parents who are possibly at that point going through what I had been through 3 years back, talking about the anxieties. How do I do this for my child? What do I need to do? I'm looking for these answers. What do I do? And I was answering all those questions. And that's when I said to my admins, I said, we need to put things in the group that allows parents to, being a member of the group, be able to find answers. We started, so by that time, I had about 10 admins, I think. Every single one of them had something different to bring to the group. They're either, best in English, authors of education material, or, educational, aids of any sort, or running their own tutoring business and stuff. But every one of them was so enthusiastic about what we did in the group. They started coming up with ideas, and now we've got what we call a Facebook Live session that we do every the whole of this month, in fact, I think we've had about more than 12 Facebook Live sessions. We do Facebook Live sessions to explain what parents can do in order to help their child through the whole progression from the start of your journey to ACE 11 plus process. And we would do specific subject lessons in the group. We get resource providers who are advertisers in the group to come on board and just showcase how they teach. That gives them a chance to then engage with the members. Members would ask them questions, and they get to then showcase what they're doing. And parents would say, "I like the way you teach. I'll engage with you," and they get business.
Yeah. So that you've got the kind of you're sharing resources. You're sharing this understanding of teaching and learning in these specific, exam-focused areas for the benefit of parents and students and educators. And the ultimate purpose of everything that you do in the group is to improve outcomes for students, is to ensure that students are best supported. So how do you make this happen within the group, especially given the size of the group?
I think at the moment, I've got 14 admins and 3 moderators. The moderators are the ones who actually they manage the book club for me. Okay. The admins are the one who actually put in all the resources. I started off doing that initially, but now I've got subject experts doing stuff like that for me. They deeper, they delve deeper into the whole subject itself and do, for instance, you're looking at maths, you have someone who's an expert with algebra teaching all about algebra, so that kids can then fill in the gaps for where they don't understand certain subjects. English, we talk about comprehension, the different tactics for comprehension, and creative writing and stuff like that. So it kind of really is a place where all the resources can be found in one place. What we have gone further now is what we've done is we have actually put them in a way that's easily retrievable. It can be retrieved easily within the group by members. So basically, we've put all the literary devices, each individual type of item that we do in the group in its own album in the media section. So whether you're looking for a similes example or a metaphor, whatever, it's all in its own individual albums. And we've got the videos that we do in the guide section in its own category. So if you've got something to do with the different types of exam boards, for instance, what is the difference between CSSE or CEM or GL exam types? We have got a Facebook Live session by all the admins together explaining the different types, because we've got our admins come from various parts of the country. So they're all experts in the different types of exam types. So we've explained everything to the members from the start of an registration for an exam, and nearing the exam, what are the things they need to know, and then the registration, the CAF filling up of the common application form, what happens on National Offer Day, and beyond. So we prepare them from the start to the finish. We've got all those videos in the group, and it's all put according to category. So it's easily retrievable by members. They can, if they are new members, we've now got a video when we do the new member welcome every Sunday night. We've got a video attached to it that tells them exactly where to find, how to navigate through the group.
And that video will be in the show notes below. So if you're thinking about that video, you're thinking about how it can help, then you can find that below. As will, of course, the link to the group itself. So that'll be below as well.
To join the growing number of qualified tutors, enrol now for the Level 3 qualification for tutors. This 8-week online facilitated course covers the roles and responsibilities involved in teaching and learning, with a particular focus on inclusion, assessment, and feedback. Upon completion, you'll be awarded a Level 3 in education and training from Ofqual recognised training provider Highfield Qualifications. You will also gain a qualified tutor quality mark, the independent quality mark for tutors. Whatever your starting point, a qualification for tutors has to be the next step. Enroll today at qualifiedtutor.org/training.
Now, Agness, I wanted to ask, taking a step back, looking at the kind of purpose of a group like this, not necessarily your group, but what is the true power of an online kind of learning and resources community in today's society?
Well, without a shadow of doubt, I would say that first and foremost, given the year that we've had, online learning is definitely here to stay. Right? I think every child of this era loves the screen. I know I've got 2 of those in my house. There was a time when we were trying to tell them to limit the time they had on computers and any other gadgets that takes them on social media and stuff like that. But now, online learning basically revolves around the screen. You can't take that back. It's going to be hard taking it back. Studies actually show that humans learn better when they see and hear. So I think that online learning media basically features, video recordings, graphics, illustrations, and these are the things that attract youngsters. They want to see, they want to be able to grasp what exactly these people are talking about. They just want to be able to visualize things. And it kind of also frees students to work at their own pace. I think when you're learning online, you can utilize your time more effectively. So if you feel that you need to just stop for a while and come back to a recording, for instance, you can always continue with that later. That kind of gives you that kind of that you don't normally get at a classroom environment. And I think when it comes to introvert students, the confidence may not be there to ask questions or to do anything in your proper traditional classroom. When you're online, sometimes you find, I find that there's a lot more confident kids coming forward when they are actually being taught online. And of course, the other thing that's really great about this is you are not, as a tutor, you wouldn't be limited to a certain number of duties at any given time. The one-to-one thing is almost a thing of the past. You can teach 4 students or 6 or 30 at the same time.
Or you can pre-record videos.
You can pre-record as well, exactly.
3 years to thousands of students.
I think more and more things are going towards pre-recordings. You don't have to worry about technical glitches happening and having to cancel and reschedule lessons.
Yeah, and I'm sure if you're looking for tips and resources on how to do that, I think I know a place where you can find those as well. So, yeah. Brill, okay. Yeah, I think an area that I wanted to ask you, Agness, was what sets this group, your group, apart from other Facebook groups for parents and educators?
Oh, okay. I think we are, there's no doubt about this, okay, because of the amount of work that has been put in by my team of admins and everything. We're definitely the innovators when it comes to the type of resources and the content that we share with our members. That is something I'm very, very proud of. The phenomenal team of admins I have. They just work tirelessly, come up with all sorts of new ideas just to make things a little bit, for a change, do different things. Things like, are you smarter than a 10-year-old? Trying to put a parent and a child together and see, can you actually sit this exam now and pass it? And this is what your child is doing now. And then we do things like 11 plus FAQs. There's a session that's done by Victoria Adimusi, who's also known as the tutoress. It's all the different questions that run through a parent's mind. We actually think of it, and we actually do a session to actually explain that to them. And the other thing that we also do is we have a talk show that in Canberra, one of our admins would host every now and then. And in this program, she would actually interview students who are in top selective schools and independent schools, just to, especially now, given the 2 years we've had, you don't even get to actually visit a school to know what it looks like, what it feels like to be a student in school of that stature or wherever it might be. So we interview some parents as well as the children to first understand how they prepare themselves for these exams, for the selective exams in the schools, and how it feels like. We talk to past students, current students, and those who are just about to go into the school to find out what it's like to be there.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes us a little bit, we basically offer a lot more than just resources.
Yeah. But that's still very much, kind of the foundation, isn't it? The kind of the basis of what brings people to the group. And then they are able to see that there are these other areas and these kind of weekly sessions and events.
Exactly.
So powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I think delivering useful advice and unique content really is the key thing that really sets us apart from everywhere else. Facebook Live sessions and the things like a word of the day, idiom of the day, and all that sort of stuff. Parents come there daily to say, okay, what have I missed today? What do I need to? They know where to find things if they've missed, if they can't find it on the news feed.
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful part of your group is the how much time has been put into the structure of the group, and how easy it is to locate historical posts, which is, I find, one of the big downfalls in Facebook groups is someone new comes to the group with an idea or a question, and that question or idea has been touched on, possibly 30 different
20 times. Yes, exactly.
They just post it again, and the same people have to respond and comment with the same.
We've covered that in the introductory, how to guide for new members as well. Basically, before you ask a question, how do you actually find if that question has been previously answered in the group?
Yeah.
All those sort of stuff. But the one thing that I am really careful with is when people are answering parent queries, we need to make sure that they are indeed people who know about that subject matter, and not just anyone just hoping to just have their 2 cents worth and just saying something and misguiding a parent.
Yeah.
Because that could cost someone a child's place. So we make sure that every single comment is monitored. Every single post goes through an admin approval. So number one, the questions asked must be valid, of value to the group and the members. And there's no one person slating another member. Tutors could sometimes say, don't go to that tutor for any reason they think. We do not play judge and jury. We're very, very careful with that, because you could damage someone's reputation.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So wonderful. We're just drawing really to a close here. I think that's been such a detailed overview of what the group can bring and what benefits it has to both parents and educators, and therefore ultimately to students. And I've looked through the group. I've been present on the group, been watching the posts, been looking back through the albums, and I just think there's so much to learn from the group and from the members. And I think it's completely unrivaled, the number of admins and moderators and the level of detail that you take in each post. So I just wanted to turn to a question, Agness, on what the future holds for this group.
I think we're here to stay, that's for sure. We'll continue to add valuable content in the group. And I'm pleased to say that currently, with the help of the many tutors and authors and admins in the group, we have actually started something new. I'm starting that. It's an idea that I came up with, and we're just going to trial that this year, and hopefully that will continue in the years to come. We're going to start helping the disadvantaged children to prepare them for the exams. Because there are many students out there who cannot really afford tuition. Especially the 11th class has now become something that if you can afford tuition, you can easily get through the exams, because it's just getting tougher and tougher. So we want to try and give a bit of guidance to fill in the gaps for areas where they are weak at. And we're also very passionate about mental well-being for students and parents, especially in the days following the pandemic. So, to catch up with studies ahead of the exams and stuff like that. So our focus is now to ensure students that wherever they choose to go for the next phase of their education, they will do well. So we will do everything we can to help. We'll continue to think of new ideas to elevate the quality of online learning, not just in the UK, but globally, because we do have members from Singapore, Dubai, Taiwan, and I don't know where else. There's loads of members from across the world now. So as long as if you're on the internet, you've got access to the internet, we will reach you and we will deliver lessons.
Okay, so expansion into both internationally and into
Exactly.
those critical areas of mental health and well-being. I'm really looking forward to what the future holds for this group, for the 11 plus ISEB SATS, GCSE and A-level resource group. There it is again, the 11 plus
impressive
SATS, GCSE and A-level resource group. The link to join this group will be in the show notes below. And I really strongly urge you to, if you're listening to this, to check out the group and to look through the albums and the media that Agness and her team have set up over the years. Thank you so much, Agness, for not only sharing information about the group, but also about kind of your ethos of teaching and learning and some of those future plans.
Thank you, Ludo. It's an immense pleasure to actually speak to you today, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Agness, and see you all next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Qualified Tutor podcast, where tutors share their expertise to support the tutoring community. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our Qualified Tutor community at www.qualifiedtutorcommunity.org or find it in the show notes below. We exist to connect, share, and learn with you because tutoring is a small job that makes a big difference.